Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Beth and I'm a bit disappointed right now. As you might have guessed from the title of this video, what I'm disappointed in is this book. This is Shylock is My Name by Howard Jacobson. And I remembered a couple of pages in that I'm just not a big fan of The Merchant of Venice, which is what this book was based off of. It didn't occur to me until after I started reading it that that's one of the ones that it's not my least favorite by any means, but I just am not a huge fan of it, so I don't often reread it. And this kind of fell into that. Now, as you can tell, my bookmark is at about 100 pages in, which is slightly less than halfway, and I'm going to be DNFing this book. So, what I'm going to do right now is give you a quick review of the first 100 pages or so that I did read and tell you a couple of things I liked, what I didn't like, and why I'm putting this down for now. So at the beginning of Shylock is My Name, we meet, of course, Shylock and Strulovic. Now, Shylock is a Jewish man whose wife Leah has passed away, and he's visiting her grave, and he likes to try to keep her alive, hold conversations with her, read to her, etc. And so he goes out and sits on this little stool at her graveside and speaks with her. And Strulovic's mother is in the same graveyard. And so he sees this fellow Jew who is carrying on conversations with his dead wife. And they don't get to know each other, but they see each other. And there is sort of a companionship of the graveyard between them. And one day, Strulovic asks Shylock if he would like to come home and spend time at the house with him, have dinner, take a bath, spend the night at this nice house because Jalovic is very wealthy and Shylock is not from that area. He just wanted a good graveyard for his wife to be buried in. And so Shylock agrees and goes to the house with Strulovic. They are carrying on some conversations about what it is to be a Jew in a Christian world and all of that kind of thing. And they start talking about their daughters. Strulovic and Shylock both have daughters of about the same age. Beatrice, who is Strulovic's daughter, is a art student at a somewhat local art college and still lives at home. Whereas Shylock's daughter Jessica has just run away and eloped, apparently, with a Gentile and stolen a ring given to him by his dead wife, which she then sold in order to purchase a monkey. But they are both having some sort of strife between them and their daughters. And so there's a lot of rhetoric about Christianity versus um, Judaism, and there's a lot of rhetoric about daughters. So, one of the things that bothered me the most so far in this book has been the rhetoric about daughters. There are some really weird references to fathers and daughters and kind of an almost sexual tension between fathers and daughters, which is very Freudian and really weird. And I just don't like the way that it keeps being brought up. For instance, it talks a lot about how Strulovix kind of tails his daughter and follows her around to all of these parties and things that she goes to in order to protect her and keep her from just throwing herself away. And so it says, Strulovik hissed into her ears. He dragged her down the stairs. Have I brought you up to value noise as an entity, just noise for the sake of it? Beatrice, while some chthonic arsehole fondles your breasts. She fought him on the stairs, and fought him as he dragged her into the Mercedes, while the chauffeur looked on, saying nothing. That's what this is really about, isn't it? She said. It's not the music. It's got nothing to do with music. It's the fondling. No one was fondling me, as it so happens. I was fondling him. The only fondling of me that was going on was in your head. Another thing that bothered me about this, which I knew was going to bug me going into it because I have read the play, but all of the rhetoric about Judaism and Christianity, it's a lot more harsh than I remember the play being. Of course, I haven't read the play in a really long time, so that could be an issue. And the other thing I don't particularly enjoy and that's making it really difficult for me is that all of this rhetoric and discussion is by two old Jewish guys, and they're sitting around just really cranky, and I feel like I am slogging through the slush that is on the ground in the cemetery that they meet in. It is just not, it leaves me feeling cold and not like there's anything for me to do, and why am I even trying to push myself through this book? The other section in this book is also about a father and a daughter, except that in the very first chapter that we are introduced to them, the father then goes and allows himself to die, and the daughter inherits everything. And so he's not really a huge part of the story. But let me introduce you to them really quickly, because this is one of my favorite passages in the 100 pages that I actually read. There lived once in a big old house, equidistant from Mottram St. Andrew, Alderley Edge, and Wilmslow, at the very heart of what is still known to estate agents as the Golden Triangle, a dope-smoking media don who disapproved of both dope and media, heir to a pharmaceutical fortune who favored the redistribution of all wealth but his own, a utopist who mistrusted the principle of social amelioration, a lover of Gregorian chant who fantasized about being a rock legend, a whimsical conservationist who bought his sons fast cars with which they tore up the very country roads he wanted conserving. If he sounds like many people, it's because many people were wrapped up in him. But he was just one man, a single fretting bundle of idealistic envy. Sometimes, he told his students at the business school in Stockport, of which he was the dean, even the fortunate and gifted can feel their lives are mortgaged to a perplexing sadness. For Peter Shawcross, MBE, one day had become the same as every other. And then it goes on at the bottom of the next page, which would be page 18, talks about how he has one and only daughter. That is Anna Livia Plurabelle Cleopatra, a thing of beauty is a joy forever, Christine. Yes. Shall I say her name again? Anna Livia Plurabelle Cleopatra, a thing of beauty is a joy forever, Christine. And Plurabelle, or Plury, as she is known to those who are her friends, has a mother as well, but her mother has gone cuckoo crazy nuts and kind of hopped the hedgerow and has been running around with like rock stars and just hippie type people. And so when her father passes away, Plurabelle is left the fortune in the house, and she starts kind of having parties and has her own television show, and all of that kind of thing is going on over there. And she has an art dealer that comes and becomes fast friends with her, and so she and he start living in the house together. He is installed into her household and has become sort of her advisor, and he starts bringing more people around for her to meet. And so she has this very interesting kind of crazy weird thing going on at her house, several house parties. And towards the end of what I've read, he introduces her to Beatrice. So that sounds like it's going to be fun. However, I could not continue making myself read the cranky old man rhetoric in order to get to the very short chapters about Plurabelle and Beatrice and Danton and I believe Barney is Plurabelle's boyfriend's name, because the difference is that Plurabelle has 2 or 3 pages about what's going on with her, and then the chapters with Strulovic and Shylock are 13, 14, 18 pages long, and I just could not reconcile the difference in my mind. I am just going to put this on a bottom shelf on my TBR shelves and come back to it later on when I'm in maybe a more introspective mood. I think would probably help it. But I am giving it a 2 out of 5 stars at the moment. If you have read it and had any different thoughts or want to expound on anything I've said, please leave that for me down below. I know that a lot of you have read it and enjoyed it, so I was really, really looking forward to it, and I'm not sure what happened to make me not like it. But oh well. I will see you guys again soon. Much love. Bye.